Hello guys, Arkan here. I just want to take some time to tell you guys that we have a Patreon set up for the channel. It's an additional way you can support us. So I will put the link in the YouTube cards and in the description. Thanks for checking it out and I hope you enjoyed the video. Hawke lowers a little, shaking his head and stepping back inside. We follow. Oh, there's even an animation of Hawke, the loading screen. What are we looking at? Okay, potions, alchemy stuff. Some plants. Oh wow, this place is not child safe. Smells a little funky too, but in like a pleasant way, like flowers, aloe, and old cheese. I need you to tend to Feenyx until I get back. The pale wolf blanches in surprise. Back? Back from where? There's been an attack on humans. People in Corran are panicking and Sal and Maira came out here to tell me the news. Hawke nods in understanding. And you're escorting them back. I shouldn't be more than 3 hours. You're taking at least Arjan with you, right? Take Arjan with you. If anyone's coming with me, I'd prefer Frode. You know Frode is better at protecting the Shire. Aside from that, I can already tell you're going to want a pack meeting when you get back. And if you and Frode go together, you'll have already decided on a plan and won't listen to anyone else's objections. Bowers puts his paws up defensively. Fine. I'll take Arjan if he'll shut you up. Hawke just smiles at the bigger wolf, clearly satisfied. I trust you will see to the human, to Feenyx's needs. Certainly, I won't even break a single one of his ribs. Bowers throws his arms up in exasperation. Oh, go boil your arse. He wrenches the door back open and steps out, calling back to us. And find him somewhere else to stay for tonight. I want my bed back. Of course, sire. 1 story or 2? Without turning around, Bowers makes a gesture with his arms and hands that I've never seen before, but I can tell it's definitely not a polite one. Hawke just chuckles to himself, closing the door. And hello again, Feenyx. Hello, Hawke. He really gave you his old clothes, eh? Yes, sir. There's a glint of something in the wolf's eyes, but he hardly skips a beat. Well, they suit you, at least. He gestures to the bed in the room. Since I have you here, I'd like to finally check on your injuries. Could you please lie down? Sure. On your back, please, and I'll take those. He takes my old clothes and goes about putting them away in the dresser. Meanwhile, I do as asked, settling myself down on a bed that's much more comfortable than Bowers' had been. A moment later, and Hawke stands over me. Again, I watch in disbelief as his tan-furred hands glow a faint green, hovering over my chest, a prodding finger here and there. Alright, good. You're healing a little wrong, but... Another few prods, and a moment later, a massive sensation hits me. I cover up my chest and groan out. I feel like I just got punched in the ribs. From the inside. Apologies. Bowers really moved your bones around. But from here, you're responding better to the magic than before. You should be fully recovered by tomorrow morning. I'm still clutching my chest, rolling onto my side, curling into a fetal position. I take it this is the first time you've had a bone magically set? Yeah, kinda. Again, sorry, if I were a water sage, that would have been a lot more pleasant, but I'm kind of the only choice you've got. Right. I wheeze the word out, then let myself uncurl, breathing slowly and deeply. Hawke takes a seat at his desk, putting his hands on his knees, sizing me up. So, you've been dumped on me even though I'm severely behind on my duties. I'll admit that I'm shy at entertaining guests, so I've saved us both the trouble of even trying. Mind, I've got about 30 questions buzzing in my skull to ask you, but like Bowers said, I'll be respecting your privacy unless you feel like talking. You're also welcome to a nap, considering how you're still recovering and just spent the last few hours on your feet. He looks around, clearly in thought. Beyond that, you could help me around with my practice, if alchemy tickles your fancy. What, really? Bowers made it sound like I'd lose fingers if I touched any of your plants. In most days you'd be right, but I've got orders to fill in only 2 hands. So what'll it be? I feel at the bed beneath me, actually sore tempted to just roll over and pass out, but I don't think I could sleep through a chance to see another branch of magic, no matter how mundane. You know what? Sure, hit me with all the chores you got. Well, look at you, contributing to our little village already. Alright, sit up and show me your hands. Eh? I do as instructed, extending my hands, which he cups in his own from beneath. Again, there's a glow, but a deeper, richer hue of green than before, and I feel a strange, almost confident tingling in them. Whoa, what's that? Just a little trick to help you handle the samples more carefully. He reaches next to his desk and grabs a pair of big wicker baskets, handing one to me before getting to his feet. Hawke takes a good while showing me around his garden, carefully explaining the process of pruning and collecting samples from each of the different specimens. He relegates me to gathering flowers, leaves, and berries, while he delicately removes bark and root samples from some of the sturdier plants. The knife I've been given is already being used to make clean cuts, as Hawke was adamant that I shouldn't be pulling or twisting samples off. As we work, I can feel his eyes on me, but whenever I glance his way, he seems to be fully engrossed in his duties. The enchantment he cast on my hands is really impressive, too. I feel like I'm moving with the dexterity of a surgeon. Hey, anything on your mind? Me? Lots of things. All the time, really. How do you mean? The wolf shrugs a bit, shoulder deep in a large bush, scraping a knife at its base. Bowers already told you. We don't pry, but we are very curious. You don't even smell like you belong here, and you made your way this deep onto our lands without a single provision on you, save for your keys and luck charms. Wow, Bowers really had Hawke's number. Something's telling me this guy is itching to ask me questions. Part of me wonders if it wouldn't be so bad to tell him, but at the same time, I can feel myself having no interest in potentially getting dragged into all of this champion business. Although not telling him feels like it's almost spitting in the face of his hospitality. Can you just give me another day or so, after I've had more time to adjust? I promise I'll tell you. I can see some of the tension in the wolf's shoulders let up, but I can tell he'd prefer some actual information. Thank you. Still, you picked a very strange time to arrive in our lands. Things lately have been problematic. Problematic how? Hawke again regards me with a rather concerned expression. The attacks outside our village? Oh, right. Did you think animals and people getting slaughtered in the area was a common occurrence, or? No, sorry. I was just curious if there was anything besides that, I guess. Honestly, for all I know, those sorts of things could be common here, but I also don't want to sound like a complete asshole. But no odd occurrences other than just day-to-day joys of living in a village full of werewolves where at least 3/4 of them were turned in dark, gruesome circumstances. I grimace a bit internally. On that note, do you think you'd be ready to be properly introduced to the Shire anytime soon? Huh? You're already the talk of the town. Lots of pups interested in seeing the mysterious human who showed up in the odd clothes. Well, shouldn't Bowers be the one introducing me? Hawke snorts, chuckling and shaking his head. Bowers is our Shire's alpha. While it gives him a lot of authority, it doesn't make him the wolf who takes care of everything around here. And as you're not exactly his consort, you've already been welcomed into our town. Just say the word, and any of us would happily take you to the Howling Circle to meet most of the locals. Howling Circle? Hawke waves a hand dismissively. Village center, where most events and trade happen. Besides, it would be best to have you not be a subject of local curiosity. Otherwise, Hawke stands up straight, looking in the distance, then tosses his knife into his basket with a frustrated grumble. Money's bones. I do not need this right now. What? Speak of the devil and she doth appear. I watch as he waves in the direction he's facing, smiling warmly. I can't see what he's looking at as I'm on my knees working. Stay down. What? Stay down. His voice is hushed, but his face is still pleasant. Listen carefully. Astrid's here. She's the kindest she-wolf you will ever meet, but she's an insatiable gossip, and unless you want her interpretation of your life scattered to the four winds, you'd best keep your answer short and polite. She's also very old and an exception to almost every rule in the Shire, so be aware that she will ask any and all manner of questions. Astrid, hello.
Green Paws, I hoped I'd find you here.
I am known for living at my house, ma'am. Astrid delivers a quick, painless backhand to Hawke's exposed tummy.
You never run out of sass, do ya?
I live to please.
A wolf after my own heart. Now, I was... Oh, my stars!
The older wolf nearly jumps back in surprise upon noticing me.
So that's where the furless has been.
The what? Human. She means human.
No, Hawke. Like I always say, we're all human deep down.
Some of us are just fluffier
than others.
I know.
And you'd better remember it.
The little she-wolf turns to me and curtsies ever so slightly.
Pleased to make your acquaintance. And you are?
Feenyx Quill, ma'am.
Delighted.
She turns to Hawke and regards him with a bit of a conflicted expression.
Well, this certainly puts me in a difficult crossroads. I thought you'd be by yourself out here.
Crossroads?
There's a bit of a pressing matter I need to talk to Hawke, but I don't want to upset our little visitor.
Little visitor? Feenyx is of age, and in my care, unless this is the kind of matter that will need a midwife or something out of that nature, I think you should be fine hearing it.
Ah.
Astrid seems to be considering her options for a moment, then just shrugs.
So, the thing is, I'm about to die.
Oh dear Manny, are you alright? Are you bleeding? The she-wolf just raises a dismissive hand, keeping Hawke at arm's length.
No, nothing so dire. It's just that, well, it's the strangest thing. Not too long after seeing you this morning, I felt it. The call.
Hawke's body goes still at that, then wilts. Really? You're sure?
Sure as I stand. It's just like they say. You just know.
I see. I can feel a tension in the air, but at the same time, I again feel completely out of the loop. Excuse me, what's the call? Hawke glances my way and gives me a tired smile. It's something we can feel, likely a result of our heightened senses, but...
When we are fortunate enough to pass from old age, death lets us know it's on its way to retrieve us.
It's possible that death lets most people know, but you can't just sense it. Wow. Really? Wow. Cheese and crackers, you are bad at this. I stand there a bit awkwardly, sensing I really shouldn't be present for something so personal. I gesture to the cottage. Should I leave you two alone? Astrid just gives a single wry laugh.
Ah, don't you worry your dear little head. I'm just dying. Nothing special about that. It's as natural as the changing of the leaves.
Only you would put it that way, Astrid. Come on inside. Let's see what it is I can do for you.
Always a gentleman.
We make our way back inside, Hawke taking my basket from me and arranging a few chairs, having Astrid sit on his bed. So, you're dying.
Sure am.
I must admit, I am surprised you're here and not with the pups. If you know your time is very limited, why come to my cottage?
Well,
She sits up a bit more straight, like a proper lady.
as inelegant as it may sound, I would ask that you help me buy a little bit more time before I move on. I've got more loose ends to tie up than I'd like to admit, and I'd hate to leave too much of a mess for you to clean up after I go.
I can hear an unsure sort of sound coming from Hawke's throat. You understand I'm only a sage. I don't work miracles. At best I might be able to give you another day, and that's being quite generous. Astrid nods.
That should be perfectly fine.
Hawke takes a long breath in, then out. Well, no time like the present. I will get to work and see what I can brew up. It should take a little while. Would you like to come back later, or...
I would actually prefer a chance to chat with present company, if it's no bother.
She looks to me and smiles warmly.
Oh, none at all, I guess. Splendid.
Hawke's eyes flick my way, an apologetic expression on his face, before he moves out of the main room into his kitchen. We watch him go, and Astrid just smiles at me a bit more.
So, my apologies for just getting to know you and then promptly dying on you. Terribly rude of me.
I open my mouth, completely lost as to what to say to that. Astrid just cackles at my bewildered expression.
Oh, poor lad. I kid.
I try to laugh a bit as well, but it's just so odd. I'm talking to someone on death's door, and she's just so calm. Ma'am?
Yes?
Would it be rude if I asked you a personal question? The old wolf chortles a bit to herself.
It's not like I've got much time to hold it against you if it was, anyway. Ask away, sweeting.
My thoughts drift back to my life that now sits behind me, not even a day away. And again I can feel a familiar, heavy sensation in my very core. Are you happy to be dying? The old she-wolf straightens herself up a bit, before looking me squarely in the eyes.
I'll need to answer your question with a question. First tell me, young one, who is death to you?
I can't help but hesitate. Death is freedom. Freedom from pain, struggle, weakness, everything. She nods slowly.
You're not wrong. I've seen decades upon decades of everything. Might I ask, then, what is life to you?
I can feel her eyes looking deep into my own, and I can't help but look away, not daring to answer.
I see. I am happy to be dying, young one, because I am happy to have lived. Death has always been a welcome guest, and me and death have already passed each other by more times than I can count. But from one soul who has suffered to another...
I look up, her eyes meeting mine, effortlessly seeing right through me.
While pain can destroy a person, it also has the power to mold one's heart into its most beautiful shape. And it truly would be a shame to rob yourself of the chance to become your most wondrous self, wouldn't you say?
I look down, fiddling with my hands. Was I really that obvious? I can't look at her properly, not with the weight of her words settling so heavily on my chest.
I'm glad Bowers and Hawke have welcomed you to our shire. They know what I'm talking about. And I think they might be just what you need to make your heart bloom.
Damn it, I can feel a lump forming in my throat. I nod, trying to steady my breath, before I hear the kitchen door open again. So, I've got a few things that... The big wolf stops, taking in the scene before him. Am I interrupting something?
Not at all, Hawke.
The doubt on Hawke's face is apparent, but he keeps it to himself, setting a number of bottles on his desk. I take the shift in tone to quietly collect myself as he works. This is the best I can do with what I've got. I should have enough dried alba to get a new batch started today, though. Alba? Hawke disregards my interruption. 2 of these are tropical, and I need to reach your skin with my hands either way. Is it alright if I apply them to your lower back?
As long as I don't have to get off this bed, you can do whatever you want.
She leans forward a bit, easing up the shawls covering her lower back. I can't see anything with her facing me, but Hawke sets to work on the other side of the bed. I look away, not inclined to watch a wolf-on-wolf massage.
Could you do me a favor and look to the windowsill, Feenyx?
I'm all too happy to oblige.
See that flower?
The CG gallery has been unlocked.
That's an alba.
Albanox, specifically, also known as the Dusk Lily or Moonflower.
The Bops still call them Luna Lilies.
Only because you taught them to.
And they bloom under the moonlight, or if you can magic them open. Hawke?
Yes, ma'am. Hawke waves his arm in the direction of the windowsill, and just like that...
Wow, it bloomed. So pretty.
Oh, wow.
Lovely, aren't they? They're a very special flower.
Yeah? Werewolves are resistant to almost all poisons, but also almost all medicines. But when alba is added, the body lets the medicine in so it can do its work. Though at the same time, it also means that it will let poisons take effect, so we're careful about how and when they're used. Huh. I regard the large white bloom, again suddenly feeling the weight of my situation pressing down on me. My mind is reminding me that I'm a stranger here, not just in this house or community, but likely this entire world. But I'd heard of Camelot before. Did I travel through time? Is this another world? Another dimension? Another reality? I can feel myself seriously wanting to tell Hawke everything and ask a million questions about this world, but Bowers said not to, and I don't want to stress him out any worse than he already is. The room is generally quiet, Hawke mumbling a few things here and there, before finally he straightens himself up. Alright, Astrid, I think that's everything I can do. He moves to his desk and presents her with a few bottles, each filled with a rich, welcoming emerald liquid. Drink one of these at bedtime, one when you wake up, and one at midday. If you're still with us after that, I should have more for you. Astrid pulls herself off the bed, straightening her back out.
Goodness, Hawke, you're such a fine gentleman. If I had more worldly possessions to leave behind, I'd give them all to you.
She laughs softly to herself at the rather dark statement.
Now, if you'll excuse me, I have a number of favors to call in.
Hawke opens the door for her and she steps out, her thick tail weakly wagging side to side as she goes. He watches her depart, then turns to me, his presence once again quite professional. Alright, let me pick us up some lunch from the Howling Circle, and then we've got a lot of work to do, if you're still alright with helping. Yeah, sure, no problem. I'm left to my own thoughts for only a few minutes before Hawke returns with a root vegetable stir-fry and a fresh berry compote, the latter of which we eat on slices of a very crispy bread. After that, I end up playing apprentice to him for several hours. It's a lot of busy work, but it's all new to me, so I don't mind. The CG gallery has been unlocked. Okay. New CG. Some components need to be dried. Some that have been dried need to be crumbled. Others need to be powdered. Hawke alternates between checking my work and tending to a bubbling, faintly glowing concoction brewing in a rather large stewing pot. As I work, I learn a few things about the alchemical process, and how important the infusion of magic is to a potion, and how it brings out the curative properties of the components. Hawke's command of magic looks so natural and effortless, like it's just an extension of his body. Before we end the video, I would like to give a massive thank you to our patrons. Your support means more than the world to us.
It means the galaxy to us. And a special shout out to AGN for becoming a Lightfall associate. Thank you so much. Check out patreon.com/arkandray07 to be a patron today. Ciao!